Hi guys, this is Venkat, and this is my first video blog that I'm creating for the study abroad. And this is to all students who are actually watching this video because I want to let them know how much this trip means to them and how much this was an exciting experience for me. And I'm only going to cover up till Hiroshima because I just want to talk a little bit about my trip so far and like how it went really well. I made a separate video about the Miyajima Island video that I did make, and I already put it on YouTube for y'all to see. Look. And then so I'm gonna talk to you a little about my trip that I enjoyed throughout this time with Ibaraki Sensei and my rest of my study abroad group, so you can see what I've been up to. So my trip all began with this airplane, which is ANA. It's a Japanese airline that took me directly from LA to Tokyo Narita. My journey was just this beginning with this airline where I had excellent service, and this is Narita on the way, and I was actually getting closer to the airport when I was landing. This is Narita, an aerial view, and you can see how beautiful it was looking. So my first trip, we went to the Buddhist temple in my study abroad. We talked a little about Shinto shrines of Japanese culture. That's my team right there. It was one of them. We did the Oishai sign.
So beautiful town. This was once 1945. I think it's an atomic bomb that was released. That is a very big destruction.
So what I posted over there was a video about how the atomic bomb came into the hypocenter of this amazing city, and it was somewhere in World War II when President Truman authorized the drop of the bomb, so in order to end World War II. But it was very devastating, and you can see in the video how much one blast of the atomic bomb can completely wipe out a whole town. And you could see the looks of it. And I'm going to show you in the next few videos and some pictures about some of the atomic bombs that were used and things that we need to remember as people so that we don't repeat the mistakes that people made in the past when we gave such a loss. This is the memorial museum that was built as a memorial, and you can see this before. Now this is after the bombing of Hiroshima. You can see how much damage it did to melt everything away. That's the atomic bomb that was used to destroy people in Hiroshima. That was the one used in Nagasaki. They look very small, but you could see how much damage they did. And these are some of the descriptions of nuclear tests that are being used currently. And this is the Hiroshima National Museum Memorial, where this is the remains of the melted Memorial Park. No one's allowed to get through past that gate, others you're in big trouble. But you could see over there about how much melted that. So the next video you're going to see is that we actually tried some okonomiyaki, which is Hiroshima's favorite dish. I want to add the slide to teach you a little bit about the culture. Okonomiyaki is like an egg with a pancake, with cabbage, with lettuce, vegetables that you like. I picked a vegetarian one, and then three of the people in my study abroad picked pork with cabbage and other things in it in order to make it very tasty. And then what you can see down there is of how they make it. So I'm going to show this video throughout and show you how they flip things around. So I hope this video makes your mouth really mouth water.
Well, they got cheese.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's probably the present.
I feel like if I tried to make this,
Oh, yeah. You probably got to be kind of experienced.
I fucked up making a quesadilla.
Okay, so okonomiyaki is over. We went to the Miyajima Island before. I already showed a video based upon that, and you're gonna see that in the next video that I posted. Last but not least, this is Mount Fuji that I crossed. You have to admire how beautiful that mountain is, and it's very spiritual. Where actually I've learned a little bit about the culture there. I see you saw the full rest of the pictures that I uploaded. This is actually pictures from my iPad. Most of my pictures are actually on my phone, but I'm actually want to talk a little bit about the Mount Fuji. It's very historical in Japan. It is the pride of Japan, based on like the pictures that you saw. It's actually been known that there's a lot of pilgrimages that are done every year, somewhere around May, and there's also cherry blossoms that happen there, which makes it look really beautiful. It's a great place for pictures, but anyway, it's more of a cultural attraction that I recommend seeing, because you could see the amount of faith that Japanese people have when they focus on kami, which is their god. It's like the birthplace of kami. It is like the Mount Fuji is like the source of Japan's, and we could also, and what I'm going to talk about Hiroshima is the impact that it had on the war. We always have to remember that we should be careful with the judgments that we make. We saw how the Hiroshima bombing has done so much damage to the city. There was a storyteller that Ibaraki Sensei actually invited to talk a little bit about her mother, her mother survived the Hiroshima bombing, but unfortunately her mother's sister did not survive, and she passed away where she was melted away from the bomb blast, from the atomic bomb. But one thing we have to always remember is that we should never repeat the mistakes of the past, and we should never let them repeat the future. I found out from the museum through my visit that there was over 1,600 nuclear weapons that were tested, and they're currently being made in the United States at the moment. Sorry, the light's going out. Oh, okay, there we go. So there are currently 160,000 nuclear weapons that are currently being made in the United States, and unfortunately the world has it now, and we should always remember that we have to understand the devastation and the negative impact they can have on the whole country. But we should always remember that we should stay strong and never let these weapons come into use, because we have to know how much we're going to lose, and they should never be used at all in the future. Japan never allowed the production of nuclear weapons, because we could see how much mass destruction it did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, even though it ended the war. I've learned in the museum a lot about people had mutilated bodies, low birth rates. Pregnant women were not able to have miscarriages, and there was a lot of radiation poisoning. And one thing that really surprised me is that the leukemia rates were high even for survivors who were not exposed to the bomb, but to the radiation levels that were attacked. There's been a very high incidence of it, and it is something that needs to be shown as awareness, because the nuclear weapons that we have now are more devastating and 10 times more powerful than atomic bombs. And that's one thing I want to talk about in this video about Hiroshima that I've learned, and I think for any future study abroad student who's coming on this trip should also know as well, when they check it out, because it's something we have to teach the next generations about, so we learn about how much impact we're going to create to the world. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching my video, and I hope to post more of these, and yeah, I'd like, if any student has any questions, please come up to me.